Today in Grow a Garden in Roblox, I have the 10 pets you are going to need to become filthy rich in this game. I'm not talking billions, I am talking hundreds of trillions of shekels. If that is interesting to you, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Become part of the first 100k OGs, and let's get into the video. Number 10 on this list is the blood owl. The blood owl is a divine pet that you can no longer acquire easily, and its effect is clutch, and it gives all pets 0.5 XP per second, and this number increases as it gets older. For all of the pets I'm gonna method in the rest of this list, you're gonna want them to be up there in age, because the older they are, the better their effects. As such, I think everybody should have at least one blood owl on their roster so that they can age up their other pets and do the following methods even better for making trillions of shekels. Now, coming in at number 9 is a very important pet for any method we're going to talk about. And we're going to talk about multiple methods, but this guy always comes in clutch, and you need him for every single method, and that is the Triceratops. The Triceratops is a legendary pet with a very useful effect. It's called Trihorn. Every 3 minutes, it rams into 3 random plants and makes them grow by 33 minutes. You don't even need other pets to abuse this mechanic to make trillions in this game. This video by Blacksy actually explains the method very easily with the Triceratops. What you do is you put down a bunch of them and you stagger them every 15 to 20 seconds so they continually ram a tree and they continually make fruits until eventually they make a huge fruit. The Triceratops is very important for just the Triceratops method or for the following methods as well. Coming in at number 8 is the Toucan. The Toucan is a simple, rare pet that you can still get right now, and his effect is to make tropical plants bigger. And this is a list of tropical plants that exist in the game. Using a bunch of these toucans, you can make some absolutely massive plants and fruits. And there are tons of YouTubers out there that can explain the toucan method to you, such as Codezi here, so go and check out those videos to learn how to use toucans to make massive plants. Though just a warning, some of them are out of date because the honeysuckle is no longer considered a tropical plant, which is why the toucan is only at number 8 and not higher on this list. Coming in at number 7 is actually the method I use to make hundreds of trillions of shekels in this game, and that is the blood hedgehog. As you can see, I have the blood hedgehog here on my alt, and the blood hedgehog is a legendary pet with the following effect. Makes prickly fruits grow bigger, higher prickly fruit variance chance. The blood hedgehog can make prickly fruits in its radius grow 2 times bigger. The more blood hedgehogs, the bigger the fruit. Now, the only problem is the radius is very small. I have a video on my channel that I released 6 days ago explaining this method and showing it in action is how to grow a $10 trillion dino shroom that breaks Grow a Garden. And in this video, I use 8 blood hedgehogs to make a massive dino shroom worth trillions. And just for context, let me show you how big and massive this dino shroom is. I happen to have one here in my inventory. It's this thing that you're currently inside of. Here, let me just zoom out for you. This is the base of the dino shroom. This thing is worth 4 trillion shekels. If you want to see just how high in the sky it goes, you have to look up. Let me show you how big that is on my alt. There's the base of the shroom, and up there in the sky, you can see the top of it. The blood hedgehog method worked really well. Getting back on track, we're going to move on to pet number 6 you definitely want to have in your inventory if you want to make trillions in this game, and that is the simple mooncat. The mooncat is a legendary pet with the effect that every 70 seconds it naps, and new fruits within 20 studs will be 1.5 times larger. The mooncat has a smaller grow effect than a blood hedgehog. However, the mooncat doesn't have a limit of what pets it can affect. Where the blood hedgehog can only affect spiked fruits, the mooncat can affect pretty much everything. As I demonstrated here in this video, new maple apple method is better than the bone blossom in Grow a Garden. In this video, I showed you how to use the overlapping method of the sleeping mooncats to grow massive fruits. So because the mooncat can affect every single fruit now and moving forward, it's firmly in the number 6 slot. Now, these next pets are no longer about growing massive fruits, but how to take those massive fruits and turn them into massively profitable fruits. So at number 5, we have the butterfly. Everybody in the game needs a butterfly that you attain from the anti-bee egg, and every 30 minutes he makes a nearby fruit with 5 mutations, removes them, and turns it rainbow. If you're looking to make the most valuable fruit possible, to make the most trillions of shekels possible, you need a butterfly and not a dragonfly. And with this calculator, we're going to demonstrate why. We're going to take a bone blossom with no mutations on it and a weight of 50 kilograms. And it's currently worth 55 million. If you apply the golden mutation, it goes up to 1.1 billion. If you remove that and apply rainbow, it goes up to 2.7 billion. It makes sense so far, right? Golden is a times 20. Rainbow is a times 50. Watch what happens when I add a times 20 mutation like old amber. I apply old amber and it goes up to 1.1 billion, just like gold. Watch, remove it, put gold, 1.1, remove it, put amber, 1.1. But gold and rainbow affect value differently than the other mutations. If I add a second times 20, for example, tranquil, it goes up to 2.166. However, if I remove tranquil and I put golden on there, it goes up to 22 billion. The golden mutation and the rainbow mutation are applied to the formula differently than the other mutations, and they multiply all the other mutations, so they're exceptionally valuable. I can demonstrate this with rainbow. Apply rainbow, it goes to 2.77. Remove it, apply ancient amber, 2.77. If I was to add gold to this, it jumps up to 55 billion, but if I was to add rainbow to this, it jumps up to 138 billion. Rainbow is so vastly superior to gold that the dragonfly is useless and you really want the butterfly instead. And that's why it is number 5 in my list of pets you need to make trillions of shekels. Now at number 4, we're going to add another pet that adds a unique mutation that is so hard to get and worth tons, and that is the disco bee. The disco bee is a divine pet coming from the anti-bee egg, and every 14 minutes has a 20% chance of making a nearby fruit disco. And going back to that calculator, a disco is a times 125 multiplier. If you want to make a fruit that has the most mutations possible with the most expensive mutations possible, you definitely want the disco bee added to your roster of pets to prepare your fruits for harvesting, or not, but I'll explain that later in the video. Now at number 3, we have the Kitsune, and it's only here for 2 reasons. One, it is exceptionally rare, and if you happen to hatch one, you could just trade it for a whole bunch of pets. You could trade for a whole bunch of shekels. It's basically worth quadrillions of shekels by itself. But 2, it also has a unique mutation that you can't get anywhere else in the game. The Kitsune is the only prismatic pet in the game, and every 22 minutes it applies either chakra or rarely the foxfire chakra. Now the downside to this is that the chakra is only a times 15. However, the foxfire chakra is much better at a times 90. You can get disco from events. You can get disco from a spray that's no longer in the game, and you can get disco from weather effects. So the disco bee makes a better mutation, but the foxfire pet makes a mutation you can only get from the foxfire. So because of that, it's number 3. And now we move on to our top 2. And number 2, this guy's really, really important to make the most expensive fruit you can possibly make in the game, and that is any, and I mean any, ascended pet. Once a pet reaches age 50, you can put it in the machine and get any type of mutation, the rarest of which is the ascended mutation, where the ascended mutation only occurs in once in every 300 eggs. Every 6 hours, it gives the random fruit the Dawnbound mutation. Previously, the only way to get the Dawnbound mutation was to take a sunflower, pick it, put it in your hand, approach the sun god with 4 friends, and the flower in your hand will get Dawnbound. However, Dawnbound is the greatest mutation in the game at a times 150. So definitely put in the time to try and get a pet with the Dawnbound mutation. They're very, very valuable. Now, coming in at number 1, I've been hinting at it all game. You may have seen them walking around the screen. These little guys right here. It's the raccoon. And it's actually really easy to understand why he is the most important if you wanted to make trillions and trillions of shekels. The raccoon is a divine pet that every 15 minutes takes and duplicates a fruit from a random crop and gives it back to the player. So why is the raccoon the most valuable pet for making trillions of shekels in this game? Is because once you make a plant worth trillions, I mean, you can pick it up and sell it and get those trillions. Or you could have an army of raccoons take it over and over and over again for infinite shekels. So for example, over here on my alt's garden, I can switch to its main garden, slave slot number 1. And when I do so, you may see something pop into existence, which is the horned dino shroom worth 8.4 trillion shekels. 8.4 trillion shekels that my raccoons will go over and grab and bring to me infinitely for forever until the end of time. And that is why the raccoon is the number 1 pet for making trillions and trillions of shekels in Grow a Garden. If this video was useful to you, go ahead and hit subscribe and join the OG 100K. And as always, guys, Thank you very much for watching.